motion close.
Actually, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, it falls upon me, as chairman of the planning board, to recognize the departure of our village planner, who's moving on to bigger and better things. I didn't realize that Kyle and myself actually got started on the planning board pretty much the same time, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Which seems like a lifetime ago, frankly. I knew Kyle somewhat from the town level, since we were both involved in different things, and if anybody read the Southampton Press at that time, some would characterize him as famous, others infamous. That's a whole other ballgame. I just wanted to express my deep appreciation and gratitude for his service over the years. He has been invaluable in his service to the village. He was instrumental in the design standards of Main Street, which are going to help this village well into the future. Not that he's leaving us, and I'm sure he'll come back to let us know what he thinks from time to time, because if anything, Kyle is not lacking in self-confidence. So, again, I just want to tell Kyle, we will miss him, and he's great.
Thank you for the kind words. It's been an honor, a privilege to work for the board, and I'm sure you guys will do a fantastic job moving forward.
You're gonna miss us.
How you can think bigger and better things exist beyond you. With that, and he will hopefully hope that this meeting is mercy appreciated. I would ask the board secretary to call the
Okay, so the first application is Marios Nicolaides, 36 Hazelwood Avenue. Dick, I know you're here for that, but one of the neighbors called. He's on the jitney, and he wanted an opportunity to talk. So if you want to go, but we're going to keep it open until he gets here.
Well, I have nothing to say. I've submitted the.
I haven't seen the new,
I sent, it was submitted today.
Oh,
Okay, so you really have.
okay.
But I mean, you know,
It is what it is.
it covers the areas that you talked about.
You have it, come on.
Yeah, I submitted it this morning. I only got it yesterday afternoon. I submitted it this morning.
pretty much what we talked about. Ron, there was some, you got the driveway detail that you were looking for in this?
I got the tree detail, but I think I sent another email, it's probably almost a month old, where I just wanted them to indicate the grades down to the dry well and how much capacity the dry well had. And I don't know if the latest plan I had that on. Is that
Ron, is this like the May 19th?
No, that's just the landscape.
Oh, never mind.
Nothing wrong with that.
Road and drainage.
I thought when I submitted.
Oh, it's got the drains, yes, I know that.
This is what we're on. It's okay.
Too old to carry those.
Okay, it's okay, I just looked at that.
Hey,
Hey, we don't. Oh.
So that's the one with the amendments stated and signed May 20th. Tony looks remarkably different tonight.
I didn't know you were coming. I put the wrong name tag out.
He aged a lot.
But hanging out with us, that'll happen. As far as I can tell you, Clint did everything that we asked. That's fine. So I'm not, but we will hold it open until the meeting gets to this.
As long as it's always just satisfied. What I'll do is I'm gonna have to submit a covenant to the village. To the village attorney regarding the road and regarding the landscaping. I submitted an original one, but okay.
So you wanna, not that we, do you wanna hold it over another day, or? What do you have
Well,
to do?
it's gonna have to be held over because the village attorney has to approve the covenant.
Okay. End of July?
That sounds good.
July 28th?
That sounds good.
And when he gets here, I can't close it this year, but when the neighbors have a chance to
We'll put it over to the 28th.
We'll hold it over to July 28th.
And I will have everything in by then. That I have to put it, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shane.
All right, so the next application is number 2, 85 and 105 Montauk Highway LLC, which is the corner restaurant. That's already held over to July 28th. Application number 3 is the West Hampton Inn LLC, 43 Main Street. Jim, the 25th?
And the ARB thought? Pardon me? And the ARB's thoughts on the subject?
They were as happy with it as they were the last time. They found the improvements.
Did you find them to be effusive?
No. But they were not unhappy. So.
All right. I think that's about all you can really hope for.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. What's the date for August what?
25th. The next application is number 4, Prime Storage, 98 Depot Road. They've requested a holdover to July 14th. Can I please have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. The next application is number 5, 55 and 59 Old Riverhead Road. They put in a request to hold it over to July 14. Can I please have a motion? Thank you. The next application is number 6, Firestar Holdings LLC, 14 Rogers Avenue. They've requested to hold over to August 11. Can I please have a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Thank you. The next application is number 7, WHB Development Partners LLC, 107 Old Riverhead Road, 7-Eleven.
Could we have July 14th, please?
Can I please have a motion?
Second. Thank you.
Thank you. The next application is number 8, Hampton Synagogue Parish House, 1315 Brook Road, 161 Sunset Avenue. They've requested to hold it over to July 14th. Can I please have a motion?
Make a motion. Second. All in favor?
Thank you. The next application is number 9, PGJG Holding Corp., 214 and 238 Montauk Highway,
We just got something on this
last week.
last week. I'm not imagining.
Yep.
It should be this week. Got the 10 days, that's gonna be.
Yeah, I told them to come. We need to get this off the agenda.
As I recall, we were pretty much in agreement on the big picture out of it.
Pretty much, yeah.
We gotta get on tape.
Ron sent us an email, some things to pick up and hopefully address.
You have a chance to look at it, Ron?
Yeah, I did. I'm still a little concerned with the lighting plan. You've certainly taken off those 2 big fixtures that are illegal by our new code.
Right.
The lot seems a bit dark, and it doesn't look like when they ran the lighting, they accounted for those 2 lamps you have by the driveway.
The side entrance.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's enough, they're picking up any illumination over there.
I've asked the engineer about it, and he seems to keep on saying that it's adequate lighting. So,
Well,
I tell him all the time, I said, listen, maybe we should just, if you'd like, we'll just swap them out if that would,
yeah, it's,
for a light that conforms to the code, town village code.
See,
Those 2
what-
lights.
what I don't get when I look at it is you've got two lampposts and you got a 0.15 right next to them, and then further away it's 0.75. It's like it doesn't make any sense what's going on with that. Also, you're kind of in that back lot, or the back of the lot.
Right.
It's very dark there.
Okay.
The rest of it seems pretty even, but I'm
Where the lights are.
I'm not sure that plan says he's taken those 2 local pole lights off, but I'm not sure that's reflected in the illumination calculation.
Okay, so I'll have him, look at that, but, yeah, we'll swap out the 2, lights at that, Rogers Avenue entrance and maybe add something in the back by the dumpster area.
Yeah, and just make sure that the lighting plan he's given you is consistent with the lights that are there.
Okay,
It doesn't seem to jive to me.
okay. Was it Carl?
The light on the building. It wasn't the light bulb was burned. They changed it like 2 days ago.
Oh, the light bulb was out?
Yeah.
When you see the study?
I don't know, but they
Yeah.
changed it 2 days ago.
Yeah, but it's more like Rogers is concerned.
Oh no, but actually we swept everything. Yeah, it's
No, it probably doesn't.
They also located those drains along the side of that property for containing the runoff.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'm concerned with now is the light.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll hold it over to the next meeting. I'm sorry, somebody. In terms of the number of seats, I mean, we had a brief conversation about this last meeting. It's not changed. You know, there's something that was gonna be, inside or out, and when you add the seats outside.
Right, they're gonna take them from inside, put them outside.
So there's no increase in seating per
Not at
se.
all.
It's just a matter of how it's distributed.
Right.
LeBron's happy?
Well, not quite, but
Well,
we're getting there.
almost happy.
Maybe next meeting.
Yeah.
And it's just, other than the lighting,
Yeah.
you're fine. Anybody on the board? Anybody from the public want to be heard?
Well, I just want to ask a question. It says on the plan that these are actual lightning.
That's what he did, he went out that night, reading.
That's what I find interesting. I've been reading the note, and I'm like, wow, these are actual readings.
Yeah, he actually went out there with a light meter.
Maybe that's part of the problem. It ought to be
Calculated bulb.
Where was he,
Yeah,
how
if
was
it's
he?
old for, if it's an old fixture and it's not.
You know, it also depends on how he was standing, where he was
Yeah.
standing when he had the meter in his hand, and is he blocking any of the light?
Yeah.
That's what I found, I'm looking at the notes, and wow, these are actual readings.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's what it says on the plan.
He went with
What,
the meter.
what that tells me is those two lights on, at the driveway are not working.
Okay. All right, we'll address it.
Alright. Anybody from the public want to be heard? No? Make a motion on the board? No? When do you want to come back? Next meeting?
What's that?
Next meeting?
We'll try, I'll reach out to Megan and see if the engineer can change that quickly. Not very fast.
Make a motion, hold over the application 7/14.
Second. In favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good.
you. So the next
Thank you.
batch of applications are holdovers, so I'm just going to go through them and then we'll go back up to West Hampton Equity Group. So number 11 is George Vickers, 25 and 27 Hazelwood Avenue. That's already held over to July 14. The next application is number 12, Robert Schoenthal, 22 Bayfield Lane. That's held over to September 8th. The next application is number 13, 213 Dune Road LLC. The applicant's agent requested a holdover to August 25th. Can I please have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, and I don't see Mark Coles, so Jim, we'll go back up to number 10, West Hampton Equity Group. I guess you want to talk about how we're going to proceed?
Well, I mean, we.
Gentle reminder.
We have two
Yes.
meetings where the public could express whatever opinion it may have on, subject matters. We heard from a number of people at the last meeting. I'm curious to hear if anybody else wants to be heard again this evening. I would ask that you don't repeat the same thing we've already heard. But if you have something new or you haven't had a chance to speak, we're more than happy to take your comments. Again, I would just say that, they don't have to be done here at the meeting. You can submit them in written form at any time after the meeting. If any of your neighbors aren't able to be here.
Well, that's what I think we have to, actually, Kyle, even though it's your last hurrah, I need you to help me a little bit here. We are not going to be taking written comment after this because this was to decide whether we're going to proceed as a POS deck or not. So this is your opportunity Everybody had written notice. You had opportunity to put your comments in writing. So this is it. After tonight, we're not taking any more comments in writing regarding the impacts of the
Determination is
project.
significant. The action before you is to make a determination of significance. And whether it's a negative declaration, positive declaration, or it could be a conditional neg deck. So those are your three options. Typically, you don't have a public portion as part of the determination of significance. This board wanted to hear from the public prior to doing that, so that's where you're at today. That's not to say there won't be any public hearing on this later on, but this was, the board felt it important prior to making a determination of significance to hear from the public.
So you'll have an opportunity to participate in the public hearings going forward, but tonight, as it stands, after tonight, we're not taking any more written comment on the significance, the traffic impacts, or those things that the board has to take into consideration. So this is it for everybody, okay?
So if you do have a comment, I would ask you to sit, line up along the wall, one at a time, go up the base, identify yourself, and give us your comments.
Do we want to let Jim go first, or?
Well, Jim, did you want
Will
to?
the developers be making any statement tonight? I see most of them are here.
They're here to listen just like we are, as I understand it.
I think I would like the privilege, as we did last time,
Right.
of being able to comment after each
Yes,
person.
as part of this process, we've allowed this. We thought it better that if the applicant wishes to respond, it would be right after the speaker. I just think it would make more sense. If you have comments, please line up. First one, Mr. Gonzalez. Identify yourself, your address, and please give us your comments.
Yep, and just speak into the microphone.
Okay. Hello, my name is Barbara Weber Floyd. I live at 67 South Country Road in Quiod. I'm not a resident of the village, but I'm here today because I am deeply concerned about the massive number of development projects that are on the drawing board, both before the Southampton Town Planning Board and the Village Planning Board. And because we have these two jurisdictions who are evaluating projects, but not taking into account the size of the projects before the other board. So I read about your decision in the Southampton Press on the Rogers Avenue project, which is literally down the street from me, but did not in any way take into consideration the 104 units that are being proposed on South Country Road. Both of these projects are less than a half a mile from me. This project that's being proposed now is one of 6 or 7 projects within an area of less than 4 miles. Together, it would be a total of 372 units. And I don't hear anybody on this board or the Southampton Town Planning Board looking at the environmental impact of the total number of units on this community, on the traffic, on the density, on the school district, especially because we are looking at an area on Montauk Highway that already has severe traffic problems. And it is wider than West Hampton Beach because the West Hampton Beach School District has sending districts that send students into the middle school and high school. The cost for each of those students will go up to those sending districts when they have to build new facilities. There is no way that our tiny neighborhood can handle an increase of 372 units and the amount of cars and people and density that will bring. What I would like to see from both planning boards is a hold on a determination of these projects until the two boards can find a way to coordinate so that they are looking at the total environmental impact and not project by project. I've said this to the Southampton Planning Board, and I'm saying the same thing to all of you. Looking at each individual project and not taking into account the totality is going to lead to a really disastrous situation of density for this very small community. That is my request, that these projects be put on hold until these two boards can find a way to coordinate. If a developer brought before either one of the planning boards a project with 372 units and asked that the environmental impact of that be analyzed, I guarantee it would come back that that would be disastrous for this one small community. So I thank you for listening, but I'm really asking that you are doing these environmental impact studies, but you are not proposal of the project, it is just down the street because it's a different jurisdiction. Thank you very much.
I just love I take issue, frankly, I'm sorry, I take issue with the characterization of the board. The board has been very diligent in its environment. We've been very, we've actually mentioned, we've asked applicants to take into account the thing that's traffic. And we do traffic studies based on every time. We have one applicant redo a traffic study they already did because somebody else proposed something in the meantime. So we have been very diligent. I can't speak for the town. And frankly, I don't think we have the legal authority to put something on hold because of another jurisdiction. That's way above our
Well,
grade.
then maybe you need to find that legal authority
Well,
because,
then you go to your elected
because
officials.
I'm not
and-
sure, when you say you took into account with the traffic study for Rogers Avenue, did it take into account the 104 units that will be built down the road on South Country?
The one
When
by
it looked at
Striegels?
that traffic study, yes.
The one by Striegels? I don't.
No, it did not, because it was not an application at the time before the board when we commenced SECRA.
Because it's
But
before-
there is a part of that, and it's required under SECRA, and Dave is correct. All the multifamily and all the commercial activities within the village, and we even made them account for the Amazon commercial traffic, because SECRA says you need to take consideration of the cumulative impacts of other projects within the area that are currently on the books. The one in Quiog was not currently on the books when we did the secret determination on Rogers Avenue. So you can't foresee what's gonna happen in the future. That project was not before the Southampton Planning Board when this board took their action pursuant to secret.
That, project has been before the Southampton Town Planning Board for, I think, 2 years.
No, it was going for a change of zone before the town board,
Okay.
but it was never a formal application. Yes, has it been talked about? But you can't know if an application until they get a formal application.
I believe it's a formal
Yeah.
application.
It is now, but it was not at the time of the Rogers Avenue. It was not.
Wasn't the decision on Rogers Avenue made recently? Wasn't that decision just a few weeks ago?
That was the special exception permit. That was not secret. We did secret.
No, but when we started the secret process, because there comes a point where you have to start the process. If you get a new application at the time that you're about to make your findings statement, that's not gonna be taken into consideration in that application.
I would say that this project we're talking about tonight was certainly before the board when the decision on Rogers Avenue was made.
Oh, this one? Absolutely. We made them go back and take this into consideration. We made them revise that plan, that study to take this into consideration. We did a supplemental environmental impact statement because this application came on board in the middle of that process.
And what I read in the Southampton Press, the decision was that the environmental impact on traffic of 50 units there on Rogers Avenue would be a negative impact.
No, we didn't say that. We just said it wasn't, they were based upon the input of our engineers and I think it was determined that it would not have a significant effect on traffic. It's not that it wouldn't have any, just that it wouldn't have a significant effect on traffic.
Correct.
And I don't think you can assume how many units you're going to be in that development, or in this development, quite frankly, at this point. Something you may not have paid attention to also is the fact this board was adamant about reducing the scope of the Rogers Avenue, and we're obviously taking that into consideration now on this application as well. But what you do have to understand also is that's the purview of the trustees of this village, not the planning.
And we don't have a regional planning authority, so we do have multiple jurisdictions, so that's the way it works now. You may not, I appreciate you may not like it, and I appreciate it, yeah, it does work awkwardly, but that's the way the state legislature and everybody set it up, that's
But
all
I
it's
would say the fact that the line of the village goes right through this neighborhood, so one side is the village, one side is the Southampton Town Planning Board. And now the town is looking at a town-wide, township-wide housing plan. And we will run into the exact same problem. You will have projects before this board, they will have projects before that board. And the concern is because right now, you just said there's no legal process for the coordination between these two boards looking at this project. Oh, that is a problem.
Well, I'm not saying there's no real process.
I have to send it to the
You want
town.
us to place everything on hold until
They're
that
gonna-
happens. We can't do that, because then everybody gets sued.
Yeah.
The village, the town, and everybody else.
Because I live there, and my
So do
concern,
we.
so my concern is, within a few years, we will have 372 units within a couple of miles. And the impact on our town from that traffic and that density is going to be really severe, really
I
severe.
agree with you. But it's, you know, the days of rolling up the bridge, now, I mean, people are coming, whether we like it or not, there's too much money. There's too much interest in developing this property. And unless zoning changes that says that these things can't be done, there's not much that we can do. We can't stop it just because we don't like it. Especially these ones, because this is zoned as a multifamily if you get the special exception.
But
If they sat, and they said, it has nothing to do with us. If they satisfy the trustees, and the trustees issued special exception for it,
So our issue you're saying is really with the trustees
the
giving these
issue is
special.
the zoning code.
The special exception scenario is unique.
It's
Okay,
unique, but on my understanding, the special exception from it is, as long as you satisfy the criteria, we can't say no because we feel like it.
but then maybe the criteria needs to change.
Then that's when you go to your elected officials and they tell us, they give us the marshal list. We have to work within that time.
So really, you're saying we need to go to the
You
trustees.
need to go to trustees and the town council and whoever else you voted for or didn't vote for or whatever and say, this is my concerns, I want you to change the law. You change the law.
You're not alone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's five pretty sympathetic ears up here, but we also know that there's legal constructs in which we have to work within. And there's not, you know, when I came on the board 16 years ago, I actually thought, wow, we could say no because we feel like it. Doesn't like that.
Felt the same way.
That was the revelation for me. It was like, no, as long as they do X, Y, and Z, we can tell them where the curve goes and we can tell where the light is, but we can't say no at all.
Property owners have rights.
So what are the rights of the school district, for the people who live here? How will
They didn't-
this very
they didn't
small
comment.
district accommodate this much traffic, this much influx of children? I just don't see a scenario where this happens.
This is
Dave,
something
can I
I've been
just-
dealing with for years.
Dave, can I just weigh in? So the school was notified about this project. I have to notify the school, the county, the railroad, the town was notified. The fire department, the fire ambulance, the police, they all got notified of this and none of them commented,
Except the fire department.
except the fire department.
Do they
Today.
look at project by project?
Well, you'd have to
They
go-
Look at the totality.
Well,
of
I'm
what
just
we're talking
answering your
about.
question. So I'm not going to engage. I'm just trying to help the board here. Everybody was notified. They'll be notified again at another step in the process as well. They do get notified, whether they comment or not. I've been here 12 years. The school hasn't responded to one thing. So
Well,
nobody has.
I think we need to go to the school.
But you have to talk to everybody in a whole. But that's to answer your
Yeah,
question,
but the
Dave.
bottom line is, if you don't like the process, I don't think you're alone in that, but, you know.
The school
that
can't say
is an
anything.
issue that gets taken care of at a different level.
So the question of changing the process so we two boards could somehow consider projects collectively. You're saying we'd have to do legislation that we would pass.
I would assume.
It wouldn't be at the local level.
No,
There's New York State town law and village law that determine how these applications get reviewed, including the SECRES, State Environmental Review Act. It's all under the state. So if you want the procedural process to change,
Yeah.
it would have to be at the state level. But you keep saying that the projects aren't looked at together. They are.
Well,
It might,
only-
by the time
only
it's
if
a,
it's officially
because,
on the drawing board.
well, that's right.
That's it, because we can't
You can't
we can't
anticipate
look into the
something.
future and say, oh, this might happen here. It doesn't work
Exactly.
that way.
But there is a requirement to look at the cumulative impacts associated with all projects under the secret projects that are currently on the drawing board.
This project is 14 years old.
I agree with that.
Thank you very much.
Get that on the record.
Yeah.
We appreciate your
Yeah,
comments.
Megan, make sure that's in the
record.
The gist
How
of your
many?
concerns are really best directed elsewhere.
Really to the state is what you're saying. I
State,
really have to-
any elected official, start low and work your way up with the mayor.
Okay. Thank you very
How about you?
much.
There's also the CPF. I mean, they made an effort towards Rogers, correct?
I
I don't know, but I mean, there's open space money, but the people have to wanna sell it to the open space.
And CPF only has so much money, and they're only gonna put that towards projects that have some environmental sensitivity. They're not gonna buy a Superfund site. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, the impact of what she's saying, say the 300 plus housing units, it's, I mean,
Well, I mean,
to
listen-
alleviate the impact.
Well, let's just step back many years. Timber Ridge. Timber Ridge was zoned as a hotel district. However, the trustees at the time also said, but if we can't get a hotel, if you get a special exception, you could put multifamily housing. You know, that's what happens, is like, you know, to me, it's like if you zone it, should be zoned for that, but then there's a million exceptions underneath it. So it's like, it is a zoning issue and what is permitted by the code. And one of the problems with zoning is, and I think Kyle agrees with me, is it's reactive. Nobody's upset about it until there's a plan. And when the plan is already made, it's too late. So what you need is prospective zoning, people looking 10, 15, 20 years before and saying, this might happen, what do we do in that case? And unfortunately, it doesn't happen all the time. And again, once the application is made, whatever the zoning is at the time, that's the rules that we have to evaluate.
So, we touched on a lot of things here, some of which is within the purview of the board, and some of which is not within the purview of the board. Part of the issue here is people are looking at an existing problem and looking for us to solve that problem. What you and we are really supposed to be looking for is what are we proposing and how will that impact in the other direction. And one of the ways that we do that is we do traffic studies, we do other forms of studies. And we've done a traffic study and we submitted it to your engineer, and your engineer reviewed it, had some comments about it, but in general was accepting of the manner, methodology of the report and the conclusions that the report reached. And the report reached the conclusion that the traffic impact of this project in the overall scheme of things is relatively small and can be accommodated without significant impacts on adjacent roadways. That's the conclusion that professionals reached, that your professionals have reviewed and I believe accepted. Why is that? Well, I think there's probably 2 or 3 reasons why that is the case. The first reason is that this project is really self-contained. Private roads, private parking, everything that's going on within the community is in the community. It's not out in the public at large. The second thing, and I think this is significant, is that this project has 3 entrances, or 3 exits. So not everybody's going to come off onto Depot Road. Not everybody's going to go up Depot Road to get into this property. So there are 3 different roads on which this property will be accessed, which is another reason why I believe the traffic engineer reached the conclusion that there wouldn't be any significant impact on adjacent roadways. And the third thing is that some of the improvements that we have proposed in this project impact Montauk Highway and Depot Road directly, in that we're going to add a turning lane on Depot Road as part of this project, and we're adding a right turn lane on Montauk Highway as you're coming off Montauk Highway and going onto Depot Road. And it is the conclusion, I believe, of our traffic engineer that will in large measure absorb any of the increased traffic that will be making further into the street. So, it's been looked at. 11 different projects, I think, were studied as part of the study that was done here, and that's the conclusion that our traffic engineer reached. And these are the reasons why they were reached, and that's we've heard a lot about traffic. We're going to hear a lot more about traffic, but this is really the answer.
The public is aware, and I think it came up last time, your traffic engineer's conclusions were based upon a 12-month worst case scenario. It really will be based on a more likely scenario where there's a seasonal, more short-term impact. So those numbers that we're seeing doesn't mean that may happen in July or weekend, but it's not gonna happen from October to March at all. And a lot of those houses, I presume, will be weekend or weekend rate houses. So the numbers in the traffic study are worst case scenarios, if I understand correctly.
And even under those worst case scenarios, that's the conclusion that was reached. She touched on the school briefly. I'll try to touch on that as well. Our estimate is that less than 10 students may emerge out of this project. Based on my 25 years on the school board in West Hampton Beach, I can indicate that the addition of 10 new students to that school would impact the cost almost, the taxpayers almost not at all, especially when you take into consideration the fact that the population of the school has actually been dropping a little bit over the last few years. So that's really a non-issue. And the last thing, well, that's.
I would presume that she will review property taxes on this.
Right. Will more than cover the cost of any of those students that are produced will be paid for by the property taxes that will be generated. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruthie Beal. I live in Patio Villas, Lane. Just have a few questions because I'm very concerned also about the traffic. Also, I want to know where, back up a little. So altogether, there's going to be 70 homes between Country Point and Patio Gardens, Depot Road and Montauk Highway. Okay, we're like in between that. And I was told it was not going to be on Country Point. There wasn't going to be any entrance on Montauk Highway. I'm nervous. On Old Depot Road, it was only going to be only on Depot Road. It's not going to be on Old Riverhead Road and Depot Road. So I just don't know where all the traffic is going to be. When you get to that light on Montauk Highway and Depot Road, especially in the summer, taking off the train, whatever, it is horrendous. Horrendous trying to get out of our community. I also want to know where things are going to be placed, where the sewer plant would be located, where the air conditioning units would be located, and the garbage dumpsters would be situated once this is all built. And it's going to be right behind where I live. And okay, and also the Hampton Jitney now is going to be making a stop at West Hampton by the train station. That's going to be more people. And I just don't know.
Again, it's not our place to solve the traffic problem for the building. It's our place to manage the traffic that we're going to generate. And I think by my earlier comments indicated that we are very nicely, very well accommodating that traffic increase in a manner that will be have very little impact on the overall scheme of things. In our study, in the study up the road from us, all of these plans were included. And the engineers reached the conclusions that
I have a question.
yes.
Do you have a site plan that shows the improvement that
Yes. You have it.
I have that one.
Yes.
Correct. It's a separate plan.
See it, but I think that maybe the people need to see that.
I think
It's on file at the village, Rocco. They can come in and see it.
Yeah.
And this
I know,
plan
but
is
I
still in
think-
flux, let's be clear about that.
Right now, we're just talking to significance. We're trying to gather information as to the significance so we can make a determination as to how we proceed forward with SECR. We're not doing a site plan review, we're not there yet.
But I think these turning lanes do turn on something that is, it's been studied and is worthy of being studied.
The point that I'm making is that maybe the people, everybody needs to come to the town and take a look at the drawings, or come to the village and take a look at the drawings, and look at them for what they are, and does it help the situation?
Well, I have offered at every meeting to, if somebody wants to come to my office, I'm happy to go through page by page Not anybody has done that, we've reached out to people as well.
Everybody's concerned about the traffic and this problem.
But it's not as much of a problem
Right,
as
but-
people would have you believe.
The point that I'm making is that.
The traffic impact of our project on the overall, thank you for the question.
The improvement to the intersection, they go a long way to help it.
Right.
That's the point, so
That
that
is-
everybody comes up to town and
Yes.
takes a look at the plan. And I encourage everybody to come up. take a
Rocco,
look
we
at
don't
it.
even need to have them come in. Brian has it, we'll put it on the screen.
Come and take a look
And then
at
you
the
guys
plan.
can talk about it.
Why don't we take the
Towards the
remaining
back.
public commentary, and then if you wanna put the traffic up, you can
Yeah.
through it so everybody can.
Like, we don't need to.
Hello, I'm Ann Smalley. I live at 27 Brittany Lane in the Patio Village complex. I've spoken a number of times in front of the planning board and the board of trustees about this project and other projects. I'm reminding the board of my comment last meeting on June 9th that the traffic study, in my opinion, was invalid because the traffic study was done over May 27th to June 2nd, 2021, during a very cold, rainy, windy, 3-day Memorial Day weekend. And the numbers that they generated that weekend regarding the turning movement counts, TMCs, that were collected using video cameras is very low compared to usual traffic. As an example of what it is like usually, last Friday evening, I was walking my dog along Depot Road and I saw a number of cars flying up the road toward the domed tennis facility. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was about 5:30 in the evening. And then I realized that's very close to when the Cannonball comes in from New York City. At the same time, a jitney went northbound on Depot Road. This is very interesting. I think I'll just stay here for a few minutes and see how many cars come back south. So in the period from 5:40 until 6 p.m. on Friday, June 17th, 103 southbound cars passed in 20 minutes. I'm assuming that at least all of those cars went north to get to the train station and to pick people up at the jitney at the train station parking lot. A number of people may have known the secret turn off on Station Road that goes past the cemetery. So maybe the southbound number wasn't valid. It may have been more. Now, other concerns I have. You said you heard from the fire department. I went to the district meeting on Tuesday night and I spoke to the 5 commissioners and they had concerns too. So possibly what they wrote to you was generated by our conversation the other night. They have between 500 and 600 average annual runs over the last 7 years before all the new proposed residences. They are very concerned because they mentioned that all of these new residences, many of them have smart houses, which send out a lot of false alarms. And they have to respond to all the alarms because they never know what is a false alarm and what is not. I also spoke with the War Memorial Ambulance Service. They have very few volunteers. A lot of the fire department volunteers and the War Memorial volunteers are being priced out of the village and will be moving away and will not be able to volunteer anymore. But last year, the ambulance had 1,413 calls. And that was before all of these new residences and commercial buildings are going to be built. Bobby Betts, right here, is a resident of Patio Villas, and she is also on the ambulance squad, so.
Hi, Bobby Betts. I'm an EMT with West Hampton Ambulance. Yes, we are stretched quite a bit. I think a lot of people think because it says West Hampton Beach Ambulance, we only cover West Hampton Beach. We cover everything from Eastport to Span, Remsenburg, Quogue, West Hampton, Dune Road. I'm just speaking for myself, and it's incredibly busy, and it's triple the population in the summer, It was just a comment I wanted to make, so we do the best we can to help people out. I also live on Depot Road. I'm not in the Penny of Bills, but I am the first house on Depot Road, so I can't even get out of my driveway in the summer. I have to go all the way around the Station Road, but it was just a comment I wanted to make as far as being those traffic.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you for your services.
Our pleasure. I have a couple of other things that I wanted to bring up. I found out at the fire district meeting the other night that there is a big project being planned off Stewart Avenue near the Bresky Airport. So I imagine that would be impacting the volunteer fire department and ambulance service. And those people are going to be using the same roads we've been discussing to come to the village, to go to the train, and to go to the beaches. Speaking of beaches, they are becoming very overcrowded. Tom was at the fire commission meeting, and he agreed that frequently on holiday weekends, they have to close the parking lot. And that's with only 2 village resident stickers per family, and a few local volunteers and staff members also get stickers. If we have 275 more cars with stickers, assuming that all of these new proposed residences get 2 stickers apiece, I don't know where they're going to find. The roads, when the train came in last week, between the train, the jitney, the school arrival and dismissal, and the trade parade, well, from the traffic light down to the train station, they were backed up there for 12 minutes last Friday evening, and people could not get out of their driveways. I also spoke to someone I know in the EPA, and they mentioned that the LUST, and that's not lust like some people are thinking, but it's the leaking underground storage tanks from gas stations, that could be a problem because of the abandoned Metro gas station. It is closed, it is up for lease right now, and it is owned by Rob Chase Jr., who also owns the Valero station. I tried reaching him, I tried reaching Barbara Rasmussen, his attorney, nobody called me back. But have the old tanks been removed? Has anyone looked into that? Because that could be a problem, especially if there is well water going into this new proposed development. So that's about all I have to say. Thank you for giving us these public hearings and listening to us.
Thank you, Ann.
Public water, no wells, state-of-the-art septic sewage treatment plant. Things are only gonna get better, not worse. We're not responsible for the ills of everybody in the neighborhood. We have no control over the gas station. It has nothing to do with us. Then all the better for all of us. I would agree with that, but that's not an issue for this board or for this application. Again, people are talking about baseline. The actual question here is how will we affect that baseline? I think through our professionals and through our submissions so far, we have demonstrated that it would be minimal. And that's really the question that needs to be looked at.
My name's Pamela Murray. I live at 29 Brittany Lane. I have an environmental concern for the 75 years that I've been in this area. We've had this lovely green zone across from our athletic and playing fields at the school. It's been in existence for all that time. As you know, those have been playing fields are used for practice as well as they have the track and the football. Why would we want to get rid of all those trees that are giving out that life-giving oxygen over to that area when we already have a lot of carbon dioxide car traffic going along Montauk Highway, which they're breathing in? At least that seems like an area that should be preserved just for the ongoing schools and their athletic and their the use of those fields.
Thank you.
Private property being developed by the owners of the property in accordance with the village code. Extensive landscape plan is part of this project. That will get reviewed, I'm sure, in detail as we have moved down the road. And it's very likely that will produce as much or more reproducing that by what's there. These are societal ills that are not our responsibility to solve with this project. This project is something that under the village code is a project that they deemed appropriate because they passed the laws and the rules that suggested that we move in the direction that we need.
How are you? My name's Todd Skates, a resident at 57A Depot Road. I just have a thought maybe regarding the train station. Wondering if there was a possibility of diverting any traffic that goes for the train or the Hampton Jitney via Riverhead West Hampton Road versus and kind of offset what's happening with the new development that's happening midway up the street with the 22 houses and also with their development, which I understand change is coming, but I'm just wondering if there's a way we can kind of divert some of that weight. And I know that's not your department, but I don't want to create a through traffic kind of thing, but I was just curious if, Riverhead Road is more commercial oriented, that would kind of blend better towards the train and the jitney versus people in a residential area speeding to catch a train, catch a bus, versus being on the next road. And I know that's outside of your jurisdiction maybe, but I just wanted to throw that there.
Well, it's not, it's, I think it would be more outside of the confines of what we can do in this application, whether it's a master plan issue
Well,
or something that's a good type.
You do have an applications before you that could potentially have a cross access onto the MTA property. There was a road that had been blocked off right south of the tracks. The town at the time had tried to attempt to get an access to the train station along the south side of the railroad tracks. Now, the problem with that access road is relationship to its immediacy right against the tracks. Now, you do have an application to potentially get a cross access. If there could be some negotiation in the future, it would be a future cross access so that there could be access to that road without having it directly adjacent to the railroad crossing. So you could take a look at that. Obviously, it would not be constructed now, but it may be good planning for the future if some agreements were made with the MTA to provide that alternative access, thereby getting whatever traffic that is going to the railroad station doesn't have to come all the way down Montauk Highway. Down Riverhead Road, and then turn down Montauk Highway, then come back up Depot Road. They could just get off and get to the train station at that point.
We actually had that conversation with the 7-Eleven project.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about eliminating, for instance, just the jitney traffic. Having unlimited access going to the station and out of the station for both civilian vehicles and buses might be a stretch, but perhaps in the jitney area, Depot Road, and allowing bus only down that path was something we did discuss extensively during that application process. And I know that the applicant for 7-Eleven is an enthusiastic village resident.
I would think that would be beneficial for
We love that idea.
Yeah, and it gets it out of our
Beyond our control, I think, something like that.
That's my issue. It gets it out of our neighborhood. It gets everybody flowing more into a commercial area versus flowing into a residential area. I think that as part of infrastructure for the village, I think it just makes way more sense for people to flow from where they're coming from, to the road, to the village, come up Riverhead Road, turn left, turn right by the train tracks, and be right at the station. Not worry about upsetting people that are walking their dogs and kids playing in the street and stuff like that. So, thank you.
It's just that much?
Here I am.
I had spoken with Mr. Krasnow, the developer of the 7-Eleven, 2 weeks ago at the meeting. And I also asked the Board of Trustees at their meeting when they did a special exception for that property, if there was ever going to be a plan to pave that dirt road from the train station over to Riverhead Road. The Board of Trustees kind of bypassed the question by saying, we don't own that property, the MTA and the LIRR own it. They never commented further. Mr. Krasnow said that he was hoping that he could have a street put in there, but my concern, and a few of my neighbors also are concerned that that might cause a cut through shortcut up Riverhead, up Depot Road, and down that road.
That's why
over to
buses
Riverhead.
only would be the preferred.
Buses
Not
only.
allowing the buses on Depot Road, having the buses solely going in and out.
So if it became a
limited
cut
access.
through, like the Rogers Avenue extension has become for traffic to avoid Riverhead Road, we would really be concerned about that.
You're good. Good.
Do you want to?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
I'm trying to just give you the big picture one.
The idea about the road.
Oh shit! How did they do this last
You
time?
had that other.
Oh, it's okay.
Would be wonderful, and I think it's universally thought of as a really good idea, except by everybody except for the people who own the property, which is the MTA. So I think that's not an entity that we can negotiate with. I think maybe the trustees at that level take that up, or should take that up. If anybody's gonna take it up, I think that's what should happen.
One above it, sorry.
It's okay. Oh, it's touchscreen.
Yeah, it's touchscreen. Let's go to that last one. Let's see which one.
I think they would. So, I'm just wondering, was it the same people?
It's just delayed.
Yeah, it's still delayed, but alright, that'll kind of work.
Okay. You want me to zoom in on?
You can if you want. Yeah, you can try to zoom in on that and see. Yeah, it might not.
It's not gonna work. No, too much now.
Alright, just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Just capital projects on
Turn to the dark side.
maybe in-house plan.
Try to go down a little bit. It's going a little slow.
Yeah, it's like lagging. You want me to? What do you want to get to?
Just go down to that detail that's down here where it shows more of Depot Road.
Okay.
It'll be just a little bit past there.
Okay.
That's a buffer.
Brian Grogan with Peterson Grove, the engineer for the applicant. While Megan gets into this part of the village, I might.
Is that good?
Yeah, that should be good for right now.
Okay.
So what we're looking at now is the proposed widening of Depot Road, which was done by they basically taking 8 feet on our property at Ron's suggestion and widening Depot Road. So right now Depot Road is 2 lanes, one northbound, one southbound. What we're doing is sliding the northbound lane to the east, creating enough width to create 2 southbound lanes. So one would be a straight and a right turn, one will be a left turn. So effectively we're doubling the queuing length in Depot Road. Right now you have 1 southbound lane, we're doubling it. You'll have a right-hand turn, a right on red, so if you're making a right to get back out of Depot Road, you're now not necessarily waiting for the light to turn. And anyone else trying to make a left isn't holding you up, so to speak. So we're trying to make that widening there, and this goes all the way up to the northern end of our property. So we kind of widened as much as we possibly could, along that stretch of Depot Road. And as Jim indicated as well, we have a right-hand turn in off of Montauk Highway onto Depot Road. So again, we're
Which
trying.
doesn't exist now.
Which
It's
does not
proposed,
exist
yeah.
now, it's proposed. So again, what we're trying to mitigate is any impact of our traffic, as well as, you know, whatever we can do to mitigate some of the existing traffic that's there.
Don't do too fast because it's like.
You know, we think that those
see
two
the
actions
corner
will
Show that.
greatly impact that overall.
Brian, you wanna point out the, Montauk Highway?
Yeah, so the Montauk Highway is here, so what we're doing is we're creating a right-hand turn lane where there is curbing right now. This is all getting pushed back onto our property, and then we're creating a right-hand turn lane in.
You know what I think may be more representative is if you just do an intersection plan.
This
You
basically,
limit-
this
What I
is,
mean is just a plan that just gives a better view of exactly what you're doing.
we can
there.
widen this a little bit. We've broken it up into a couple of different
I think
pieces.
that would be
Because
something,
I-
Rocco, I think that's something we would do more as part of the site plan, review. We're still in the significance.
I just wanted to make the comment that I think that this is a big issue, that it does provide something that's needed, I mean, for everybody.
When we get to the site plan part of it, Brian, could you give like
No,
a 3D view for them to see what's there now and what they're getting?
A larger view of this to kind of show that whole intersection as a whole.
Like- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like color rendering or something so that they can understand it better or no?
What's existing, what's gonna.
Yeah, we can do something like that. I'm sure we can do something like that.
Sorry.
You just have to go up to the podium.
I will.
Just a comment too about this intersection as it's offset currently. So that creates kind of some confusion with people who are going head on, who are trying to make opposite turns in front of each other. It doesn't line up really the northbound and southbound. So I actually agree with this and shifting it a little more to the east. So the more they can shift it to the east really is the better. And I think that this does start to handle some of the issues that we're dealing with now.
Now 3 strikes, you're out.
Sorry, my father was a trial lawyer. I have a question about them taking part of their property away to widen the road, and assuming then the sidewalk will be moved in, also taking away some of their property. I know right now they have 8 acres, and they need to have 8 acres in order to put 48 units, including some affordable housing. Will that limit their acreage? Will that lower the acres they have, therefore?
Well, it's a number, it's not reality at this point, and not really the topic of conversation.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and this is this is akin to the Robert Avenue thing, where there is a conceptual proposal at this point,
Lots.
but just because they say we want 48 doesn't mean they are or they aren't. It's just, we have to address this in conceptual format first.
And I think there are things that'll play in like this property evaporating from the use.
But we don't have to do it.
Well, we could make this much shorter or much longer.
We're gonna have the conservation, by the property. A nice green space there.
Yeah. Could have done that. So here going to one.
Want to go through the 31 stuff? The traffic conditions or 31 or just, nobody seems to be going to talk about that.
I'm Pat Kenny Williams, and I've been a resident of West Hampton Beach since 1976 in different capacities. And to me, it's all summed up. If anybody's familiar with the song, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
I should have a singing retort to that.
I was hoping you'd have something from the mothers of invention.
Exactly.
Was it Johnny Mitchell did the first one?
Yeah. But, you know, just keep in mind that we're not paving this from stem to stern. I mean, there's homes, there's streets, there's infrastructure, there are trees, there's grass, you know, this is This is, from the outside, you will see very little of what this project looks like. You'll still see, in a lot of ways, the same, well, a much improved vista than from the landscaping that's there now. One other thing I wanted to put out there is that we've heard a lot from the Patio Villas people. I respect their point of view. But keep in mind that we're not asking for anything more than what they have. They have about 6 units per acre. Our proposal right now is about 6 units per acre as well. So it's not any larger or any very different than what they have, except that we're going to have a brand new state-of-the-art sewage treatment plant. We're not going to have finished basements, so which is a whole enforcement nightmare, I believe, up at Patio Villas for the village. But in many ways, they're comparable projects. And we're just looking to do what the village code has decided to allow us to do, which allowed them to do the same thing.
Does anybody else wish to be heard at this time? No.
Make a motion, we hold over the application till 7:14.
For determination of significance, or at least a discussion.
A finalization of
Finalization.
significance.
So, all right, so this is kind of, well, okay. I just want to remind you that from our perspective, there is a secret determination. So whatever you end up doing, you're going to have to deal with that in some fashion. We think that you should come to the same conclusion. Obviously, that's up to you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion, hold over to.
Make a motion, hold over to 7:14.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Another motion? No?
Nope, we
No,
have.
wait, I'm sorry, right, Nicolaitis. All right, Mr. Hafley was here. He presented us with his newest UCS plan.
Really? We got it at 1 o'clock today, so I ripped out
That was
the
it.
meeting, and it's rather busy, so, some we think, so you've got a point of clarity.
Time. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the middle of the meeting. Can you, if you want to have a conversation, take it outside, please.
So we think it's we think probably a couple of points of clarity, and it's a good way along. So he's left out half of lot 2 here.
Bye, Kyle. Stay in touch.
We were asked to screen it down to lot 2. He's only done half.
My understanding is there's already
There is some screening.
existing vegetation.
There is, but it's the other Rosanna said about it, but it's the other side of it here, so we hear that, but yeah, it's half the way along, but it was slightly all the way along. This says 10 off center. We understand that an R40 head should be like 5 off center, not 10. You'll get trees that have got gaps in them with 10. When you actually look at these, the diagram actually suggests when you measure them they're about 5 off center, but it's got 10 here, so we think that should be clarified. And then up here, it says proposed evergreen screening, which is not consistent with the other policies here. So if this is the same, that's fine. So what our understanding is, after the last meeting, he was asked to put arbor policies across 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. They'll be trying to be like 4 or 5 foot high, and if they're fusers, they'll grow to like 20 or 30. That's what we were looking for. If that's what this represents, that's fine with us.
One at a time.
This is my property.
Yeah, I think that was.
You guys in the back, you
We're
can't.
in the middle of a meeting here.
If you guys want to talk, you have to go out in the hallway.
This discussion was had, and the feeling, general feeling is that the area that wasn't being covered by the Aquavite division, I mean, there was nothing to move forward. That's right. Okay. And, but this area here was something that we acquiesced to the fact that there is vegetation there, that will problems.
I mean, there's something there, but, I mean, it's not, that's not a huge concern for us. I think the concern is that we end up with a hedge that's gonna grow to, that's gonna effectively screen 20 foot plus, and that means Fuji's 5 foot. Which this suggests, when you measure these, that's about 5 foot, and it says here 5 foot buffer, but it's got 10 foot offset, and also if you've only got 5 foot buffer, it's going to be very hard to maintain them. You know, they will grow to 10, but they cone up, they gap at the top, but they're going to require a lot of maintenance to only stay 5 foot.
I don't think you have to worry about building.
That's somebody else's problem.
Yeah, no, I understand that, yeah, but I mean, we
Proper
like to,
lighting.
yeah.
You can't.
I know, I've got some, yeah, especially at the bottom, chomp, yeah.
You seen this?
Yeah. So they're saying, so,
The drawing shows 5 foot.
Yeah.
The statement says 10 foot.
He has to clarify, and if it's 10 foot on center and it's not to scale, then it has to be made to scale.
Well, I think scale or not, 10% is just far.
I'm just saying, if he's going to maintain the 10 foot, so that's all I'm willing to do, then he's got to show that.
But I'm just saying that 10 foot centers, period.
But we need, if this is his proposal, we need an accurate depiction of the proposal. This is not the scale.
Then obviously that label at the top there, proposed evergreen screening, that could be anything. So we want that to be the same, Fuji arborvitae's as the bottom.
Yeah, 5%.
So the drawing is 5
You
foot.
draw the shown 5% as in statement that.
I'm hoping that it's just a drafting error on the plan, or maybe he'll, I'm hoping.
I'm thinking of a
So Riley, I hope so the same, but because we never
A
know.
wise man once said, hope springs.
You're totally right.
I have that hope.
And then also to clarify it, 4 to 5 foot high, does that mean they're going to be planted at 4 to 5 foot high? Because you can get certain species that only grow 4 to 5 foot high, so we have to go 4 to 5 foot high.
I think that's the opening bell.
That's the opening
It's not-
bell, yeah. As long as they're Fuji's, they'll grow to 20, 30.
Yeah.
Don't dig on the road hole.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be cut, so. We'll have them
We told him we were gonna hold it over till July 28th, because he had to file covenants. That had to be approved. We're gonna hold it over to July
Megan,
28th.
can we, send Mr. Hafley a note pointing out the discrepancy on the Aphrodite?
Yeah, I just need to know what he has to clarify.
Yes, he has to clarify the note on the proposed row of 4 to 5 foot high Aphrodite. They are pictured at 5 feet on center, and the statement on the drawing is 10 feet on center. And also, on the north side, where he has proposed evergreen screening, we'd like to see the same note, 4 to 5 feet high Aphrodite. And again, that's depicted as 5 foot on center. We'd like that also stated on that note.
Okay,
Did I say that right?
I think so, yeah.
And,
Did I say that
wait,
right?
did I
sounded right to me.
I might have zoned out for a second. On the north side, on the north side, you want the proposed evergreen statement to be clarified. So.
I want this, I say the same thing as that, and both do agree with the graphic depiction.
Not that I don't find it utterly fast. Yes, I think that's it.
Okay, gents, so this-
And if it is meant to be 10 foot on scale, then that's his proposal, then he's gotta show a properly scaled drawing that shows that.
And we're not accepting.
10 foot, okay, yeah, no, I know, because they'll cone up at the top, as you know, look, you guys do this for a semi-living.
Not much of
Okay,
so,
well, that's why we thank you for your service, and, it's good to see you this evening, thanks for giving us time, we've got here, so we can do too. Okay, we'll see you again on the 28th. I don't know what we're gonna do after
No,
all of this done.
I don't see other guys going up and down that way.
Let's hold him off for the 28th, because I don't want him walking in here on the 27th. With a plan like we did this time, so tell him, we're holding up for the 28th if we want, so we clarify the plan by the 14th.
Yeah, actually, because Megan does a great job, she actually gave us the plan immediately, but obviously it's up to you about whether it's heard or not, but we know that he'll give it to us at the last minute, so if you can clarify that, then that'll be great.
If he drops it on our lap the 27th, I'm not going to discuss it.
Okay, that's great.
Make a motion, we close the meeting.
Correct?
Second.
All in favor?
All right, thank you,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, James.